let's get into the first messy story. So I was hearing like mistrial and stuff, which I'm not going to do is like pulling stunts and all this other mess. Because one thing we are not going to try to have with this Diddy case is a damn mistrial. This man need to pay for the havoc that he's caused on many people for over 3 decades. So I want to see this heifer go down. And so today is the official day of the trial. And according to reports, that being deadline, they said a key witness in Sean Diddy Combs' upcoming trial, which, as I said, starts today, has reportedly gone AWOL, which could detrimentally impact the prosecutor's case. So yeah, opening statements actually begins today. They already picked the jurors. I did see something on the Daily Mail. I didn't look at it because I be feeling like y'all get on my damn nerves over there the way that y'all report things. I do feel like there's a high amount of bias when it comes to certain stories, particularly when it comes to people of color. Like y'all definitely give me y'all the British equivalent of like Page Six or the New York Times, which is very Republican. Not New York Times, the New York Post, which is very Republican leaning. So they basically said that hours before opening statements in his trial began, before a yet to be seated jury. And I forgot to mention, because I was sitting there talking about the Daily Mail. They was talking about that here's the people that's going to be on the jury. Like, how are y'all spilling things about who's on the jury? That's none of y'all business. Like, that's something in regards to the courts that's supposed to be kept secret. Why are y'all revealing that? I don't know. I didn't look at the thing, but that was what it said in the headline. And I'm sitting there like, you know what? If that was the case, I would file a lawsuit, because for y'all to be up in here revealing who's on the jury and stuff, that's not a place that y'all should be doing that. Like, report what's going on in the courtroom and what's happening with the opening arguments, all that good stuff. But you out here exposing these jurors. I feel like you leave it open for possible harassment, especially from those fans of Diddy that, these free puff wearers, the ones that's out here wearing these dumb shirts. I heard that the guy that wore that free puff shirt is actually a friend of Diddy's, but I'm sure with the incel crowd, it will definitely start a movement. So they said, as of Sunday night, which was yesterday, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York has yet to reestablish contact with the key witness against the Bad Boy Records founder. Only a few weeks ago, and this is according to Deadline, so this is like legit. This is not from like some tabloid or whatever the case is. This is literally from like the trades. So only a few weeks ago, victim number 3, as she is called in the indictment against Combs, had pleaded to testify in the criminal trial that will likely see the plea deal, rejecting Grammy-winning defendant in prison for the rest of his life if found guilty. Shielded from having to give her real name, victim number 3, according to court filings, would have detailed for the court, the jury just how Diddy allegedly exploited her sexually. Now, embarrassingly nowhere to be found, the non-NYC-based victim number 3 may provide Combs' legal team with the tools to bring the case to a standstill, at least for now, expected before Judge Aaron Subramanian at around 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time to solidify the jury and hear an update on victim number 3 from the feds. The defense is planning to ask for a mistrial or seek a delay in the start of the trial. I'm like, first of all, we're not doing mistrials. Find out where the hell this victim is and need to come forward unless they've been threatened, unless somebody offered them money. So y'all need to figure out what's going on with that. Like, we're not doing a whole mistrial stunt queen type mess because, I'm sure that Diddy's people are notorious for that, even though his billionaire status done went down since he was thrown in jail. So they said the desire for a postponement, on the other hand, has some strong legal legs. Now, contacted by Deadline earlier Sunday about the status of victim 3 and the possible outcomes if she doesn't testify, the SDNY declined to comment, according to a spokesperson. Law enforcement and sources say that they believe victim 3 has gone dark out of fears for her safety, but would not give any specifics. The defense did not respond to requests for comment, and I'm sitting there like, y'all sitting there worrying about safety, but if y'all actually was out here saying, yeah, he did this, this, and this, and this for me, then it's up to the jury to provide protection of some kind for this person. Because I'm going to say, well, who's Diddy going to get to do whatever? I'm sure he could probably get them old brainwashed ass kids of his to pull some kind of stunt to go against him. Because I saw they was all a united front. I think also Janice and them little dusty wigs she be wearing showed up in court today looking a hot ass mess per usual. And all them damn brainwashed ass children, including Quincy, was up in there. But And I got tea on his father because his father went in and let have on Diddy. You know, he's going hard on Diddy and said that Diddy had something to do with his possible unaliving, just like he believes he had something to do with Kim Porter not being here. So yeah, that's the latest on that. I'll definitely be following as it develops. I should have checked to see before I started the show if they found victim, number 3. She actually showed up to testify. But we'll see about that. And I think there was somebody that did some story on them, but I wasn't watching other people's YouTube, so I can't really comment on that. And I want to give a shout out to Mims as it make it make sense, because I saw that he posted earlier that he was outside the courthouse. He was trying to get up in there. Like, what Chris Brown said, how y'all outside the club when you trying to get in? That was him. He was up in there. I said, I live in New York and I wasn't going all the way down to Court Street to stand my behind outside just so I could get inside and spill tea. I will let y'all do the work, as in the reporters. Give me all the information. I'll read up on it and I'll bring y'all the information here. Because I'm like, who gonna stand up outside? And shout out and kudos to y'all that go out there and do all that. But I'm like, anybody got time? Well, I'll say anybody got. I don't have the time to be sitting outside trying to get up in the courthouse just so that way I could be bored to death. Just give me the cliff notes, all the juicy details, and I'll just come back to talk. Because I was like, child, look, if I wanted to be bored to death, I'd have became a damn lawyer. TV lawyers are way more entertaining in my opinion. So with that all being said, now there was some tea that came out here from today where they said one of the disgraced not one of the disgraced mogul, as in the diddler, allegedly forced an escort to perform water sports in Cassie mouth during a free course. And I'm like, look, you already know when it comes to these rich people, or if you have like your freakometer, I'm sure when it comes to Diddy, it's off the charts. And you up in here talking about you want somebody to lay some yellow juice up in somebody, what was it? I'll say that orange Gatorade up in her mouth and said that she was choking and stuff. So assistant U.S. attorney, and shout out to page 6 for this tea, Emily Johnson told a 12-person jury that Ventura first agreed to participate in Combs' now infamous free course to make him happy. But the romp allegedly became violent over time, with the rapper beating his then girlfriend if she left early or took too long in the bathroom. Now, during one particular incident, the diddler, who's 55, told a prostitute to get some of that orange Gatorade and pour it, from the tap, as in the penile tap, in Ventura's mouth, which led the Me and You singer, who's 38, by the way, to feel like she was choking. Well, here's the thing. First of all, I don't judge nobody with the water sports. I have conducted a little water sports, and during my freaky times on somebody else. You ain't peeing in my mouth, but I'll do it to you if you want it. And one of the things when it comes to urination, because I do it a lot and I drink a lot of water, so I'm not up in here. First of all, some of y'all, orange Gatorade be stinking. I don't know what the hell what's in y'all system or whatever the case is. If y'all got hepatitis A, B, A through H, I'm just making it up. I know there's no damn hepatitis H, but all the different letters of the alphabet with the hepatitis, I don't know what you got. So you're not going to sit up here like you need to be checked for viruses or any kind of thing before we do any kind of water sports of any kind. Because who knows when it comes to people, when I be some of y'all, I don't know what the hell be in y'all system, but they're just be stinking. And so you're not pouring that orange Gatorade from the tap in my mouth if you got some old situation going on up in your insides. But to each his own, because I'm not judging nobody's, level of freakiness. But not everybody can handle that. Like, there's some people say, this is why, Diddy, you need to start hanging out with more of the homosexuals, because you be trying to do this with the girls, but the gays, we got the water sports and we got that shit on lock. Like, that's our neck of the woods. That's our specialty, doing things of that nature. Look, sometimes some people will take like those, what do you call it? The little funnels. I've seen that too. They have the funnel like attached to the mouth. See, this is why we need to probably take, if Diddy wasn't so damn nasty and such a damn nuisance and didn't know how to be a fun snatcher when it came to the freak off stuff, because it seemed like you always try to push the limit with it. You could have brought your little black behind to the damn Folsom Street Fair and you be seeing all kinds of craziness going on up in there. But then again, you are a celebrity, so you couldn't be out there because then they probably spill your tea. Like some other celebrities who try to be incognito at certain parties of the sexual kind that have been exposed. I ain't gonna say who it is, but they're out there. Some of you rappers. Anyway, let's move on. Excuse me. So they said Combs also allegedly once threatened to destroy Ventura's career by releasing footage of her having relations with dozens of male escorts. So when people sit up and say, "Oh, you could have left, you could have did this, you could have did that at any point," first of all, she was in a relationship with Diddy, but it just seemed like to me that he was grooming her the entire time, especially with him being damn near 40 and she was like 19, 20. Your frontal lobe hasn't fully developed. You're young, you're wet behind the ears, you're naive, you're not really thinking straight. And the fact of this pretty girl who is a fledgling pop star, 106 in part mess of a live performance notwithstanding, she thought that Diddy could probably help her with her career and all this other stuff. Her being in a relationship with him, she probably was thinking like, oh, it's going to be all good or whatever the case was. But of course, with him having years of experience and the fact that he's very manipulative and conniving, and we've all seen this about him over the years, he knew that he could manipulate this girl. So yeah, when you having these freak offs, you sitting and recording everything, probably, and I'm sure without a lot of people's permission, he's using that to hang over her head. And a lot of times when we think about it, especially if you're a person of color or if you're a person with the industry, it's always about secrets and trying to keep certain things under wraps and all this other stuff. So it's like, I always want people to try to put themselves in this situation or the shoes of the person so they can understand what was at stake here. So did he know what he was doing? And the fact that yeah, when you're that young and you got a man or whatever, even if it's not something you into, and I'm sure many of you regular people can attest to this, that you have done things that you're like, I'm not really with it, I'm not into it, but I want to please my man, and vice versa. If it's a guy who's got a girlfriend or whatever the case is, you may not like doing certain things, but you want to please them because sometimes people feel, oh, if you don't give them what they want, they're going to go off and cheat. Even though with Diddy, he was never fully committed to anybody he was ever in a relationship with. And because he has money, access, and all the other stuff, he can do whatever the hell he wants, which hence the freak offs. But any regular person, I would just be like, yeah, we've all done things when we've been in relationships where we go and we will try to please the other person versus, even if we don't want to do it. So they try to say DV is not as trafficking. This is what Tenny Garagos told the jury, which consisted of 8 men and 4 women, as the Grammy winner sat in the courtroom wearing a white sweater. I also heard that he's been up in there reading the Bible too. So I said, okay, so now y'all up in there trying to do the whole Jonathan Majors thing. Because remember when Jonathan Majors put pause on that white girl? All of a sudden he was up in there in the courtroom with the Bible every damn day. Like, he was touched by an angel all of a sudden. It's funny how y'all all get touched by an angel when the shit hit the fan and y'all lives is on the line and you about to do some jail time. Even though Diddy's already doing jail time, but nevertheless, you know what I'm saying. All of a sudden, y'all find God when your lives is on the line, when you're about to spend the rest of your life in prison. I always find it hilarious in a way, or quite telling. But yeah, you ain't fooling nobody with that damn Bible. Oh, wait a minute. You ain't fooling me, I'll say. But for the most part, when it comes to everybody else, I told you, there's some of y'all that's so damn in the cult of religion that they can rob you blind. They could do all kinds of stuff to you, manipulate, abuse, whatever. The minute they say God, Jesus, or use certain buzzwords that got to do with the church, y'all immediately fall in line. Like it's like literally y'all sleeper agents, quickly forgetting all the other stuff that this person has been doing. But somebody say God, Jesus, the Lord, prayer, certain words. I feel like I'm doing like this is some old espionage mess sinking to the floor, and all of a sudden y'all just like dissolve into mush and y'all fall in line. I am so glad that I got a sense and a brain where I can see through the BS. But nevertheless, let's move on. So now they said the opening statements, which see lawyers outline their case, including the facts and evidence they plan to present during the trial for the first time in front of the jury, was slightly delayed. The jury selection process, which began on May 5th during the first day of the trial, was postponed until early Monday after the feds and lawyers were unable to narrow the pool to 12 jurors and 6 alternates on Friday. Now, throughout the selection process, a series of questions were asked of potential jurors, including whether they were familiar with the list of celebrities, blah, blah, blah. You already know about all that. So, and then you already know, like, we had Kanye, who leaked the prison call he made with the Diddler. Then they also mentioned Kid Cudi, whose car was rumored to have blown up at the hands of the diddler. And then we have Michael B. Jordan, who had a brief romance with Cassie, and how allegedly the diddler threatened him over that situation. And look at this picture. You can see with her body language, she looks like, I'm tired of it. Like, we just had a little situation, and I just want to, like, I ain't with it. Like, I don't care about this man. I don't like him, but I'm just here to just keep up appearances. Kind of like Melania and the president. Like, it's like, okay, I'm just here to keep up an appearance. We got a contract. I'm going to just tolerate you because you're a nuisance and abusive, but I'm just going with it. But the smart thing with Cassie was she got her ass out. The other one, girl, we don't care about you. You a lost damn cause. Now, former Destiny's Child member Michelle Williams was also brought up. Singer Dawn Richard, who is suing Combs for SA. Producer Dallas Austin, Young Miami, who you know, or AKA Carisha, who dated the diddler at one point. But she said he ain't never put pause on her. I don't know if I believe that, but if she's saying it, we'll just go along with it. We'll entertain it. And family members who were also on the list of those who may be mentioned. Now, Cassie is supposed to testify. I don't know when that's all going to happen, but she is very pregnant. And we already saw the surveillance video and stuff and all that good stuff. So, but you already know, like, he was trying to sit there and say he ain't do nothing to her. And if you didn't do anything to her, then how come you settled with her 24 hours after she came out and revealed that you R-worded her, abused her throughout y'all 10-year relationship? Because I'm like, if you ain't do nothing, then none of that stuff should have, I would have just been like, oh, she lying, which he kind of was doing. And he was trying to keep up the appearance of that. But then, of course, we saw the footage of him putting paws on her, kicking her, dragging her in the hotel room on CNN, which they said was doctored. I'm calling cap on that. I don't believe it at all. And they were and also his legal team is trying to paint him as he's a swinger. He's not a criminal and stuff. But like, two things can't be true at the same time. That you were doing criminal activities, and yeah, there was swinging going on, but we already know when it comes to men who have sexual appetites. After a while, a lot of these celebrities, they get bored. When you got a lot of money, you got a lot of power, you got a lot of influence, you're going to see how far you could push the limit. And when you've already surpassed that limit, you're going to push it a little more to see what you can get away with. And when you have a whole lot of money, a whole lot of power, a whole lot of people that keep your secrets and cover your tracks and all that other stuff, you're going to continue to do. You give an inch, especially when it comes to a narcissist and a sociopath, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And they're going to keep taking that mile until there's none left. And so I believe that, there's nothing wrong with being a swinger or you want to do drugs during your sexual acts. A lot of us do it. I've done drugs when I've had sex. Like, and I'm not trying to act like I'm innocent in anything, but I wasn't going around doing things to people without their consent. I wasn't beating on people. I wasn't R-wording people. I wasn't doing all the other things that comes with that, because not a lot of people can handle their recreational drugs or illegal drugs, because I'm sure it's not all recreational. When you're doing that tushy, when you're doing that booger sugar, when you're doing all that other stuff, it's like you got to be able to know how to handle your stuff. And to me, Diddy seemed like he was somebody who did not know how to handle a lot of stuff that he was doing. So yeah, that's all I think we have on that so far. I'm definitely going to keep abreast of the story as it develops, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot coming out. It's going to be a lot to cover. Earlier, I said I gagged because, since Diddy and this whole situation, I got to go to my page, because I was like, how many did I say? How many times did I cover this man? If my phone would actually stop acting a damn fool, I said 283 damn times I have covered Diddy. That's a lot, because when it comes to when it comes down to covering him, it was like my website reminded me how many times that I put his name in the thing as I'm like, God damn, thank God for that, because I'm keeping track of all that mess. But yeah, so that's all I have for now. So I want to say, based on what I told y'all, and I did say I will keep y'all abreast of this stuff as it develops. What do you guys think of the latest on Diddy and the whole water sports situation and stuff that's going on? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with being a little free. There's nothing wrong with doing that, as long as you're not forcing people to do something they don't want to do. But she was trying to please him, and if she didn't give him what he wanted, she was getting beat. He was doing things to her. He was threatening to expose some of her sexcapades. But then I'm thinking, if you were going to expose her, and I'm sure she wasn't thinking about that at the time, it's like when you have that guilt and that shame and stuff, you're not thinking clearly. Well, if you're going to expose me, then I'm going to expose your ass. Go ahead. I dare you. Me ain't no shame in my damn game. It's like, go ahead, expose it, but I'm gonna expose your black ass too. So play with me if you want to. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.